And we're only using chat if absolutely necessary. So we all want to be present in the meeting. And you'll notice that our agenda is a little different. So we're rearranging things so our subcommittee meetings can meet, our subcommittees can meet at the end. So we have plenty of time for to get together and talk about our plans. Okay, so now I'm going to do roll call. Sophie, and just say here. So if you can unmute and say here, that would be great.
Here.
John.
Here.
Beverly.
Here.
Alexis. Susan.
Here.
Suzanne. Carley.
On the draw there, Martha. I wasn't expecting my name to be.
Please name everybody. And Martha here. And I want to acknowledge our youth liaison, Neil. Jane.
Yeah, here. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. So now we're going to have a time to meet our visitors. So John Bell, welcome to BCOA, and please take a moment to introduce yourself and why you're here.
John's muted.
Yeah, John, I can see your name, but I can't see your face.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll move right along.
No,
So,
he's there. He's there.
I know he's there, but I
He
mean,
just started talking.
I'm
Well-
talking now.
oh, hello.
I didn't want to show you my dirty office.
Oh, okay.
And you don't want to see mine.
So welcome, John.
Well, really interested in what's happening in agent membership, and I'm really concerned about housing.
Okay,
Um,
welcome. And Ramona, our,
Ramona Crocker. I'm a member. I'm representing Viva Village, and which is a senior nonprofit paid membership organization.
wonderful. And Paul.
I'm here because of my interest in aging issues and also beginning to develop my private practice more. Often when people are discharged from home health care, when they've met their goals, there's something that inevitably happens called institutionalized dependence. And my mission is to lessen that institutionalized dependence by providing opportunities for people to be more active and mobile to prevent falls, as well as interact with staff to help with empowerment versus enablement. It's a lot more expedient for people to do for somebody, and sometimes that's the expectations to do for somebody, but it's certainly when you don't use it, you lose it. And I think most people can relate to that. And so my mission is to help lessen that.
Great. That sounds like a very noble path you're following, carving out. And Alexis, welcome. Could you just say, after I say your name, could you say here? Alexis.
Here. Sorry, I'm
Thank
late.
you. Well,
And also we have a counselor liaison today, or he is here too. So for the minutes there, Martha.
oh, sorry, Allison. This is new to name off all the names, so I'm learning as I go. So Allison Tivnon, are you here?
I'm here and I'm on mute.
We added a roll call for Sunita for tracking in the minutes just to make it easier for her. So just
She
for everyone
listens
to know, we're trying to make it easier for her in tracking everybody.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a few minutes to review and approve the May minutes. So any additions, amendments that anyone sees that need to be made to them? Yes, Ramona.
I had sent in some amendments to Carley, and so those have been, okay.
Great.
I didn't send out the revised edition. I just made the to a copy I have and made the note.
Any other amendments? Great. All in favor of approving our May minutes, say aye or raise your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
Great. Minutes have been amended and accepted. Okay, we're going to have a presentation on the PDX Concierge by our wonderful youth liaison, Neil James. So the floor is yours, Neil. Glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm
Neil.
sorry. I'm having a few problems with my like PowerPoint. Is there any way we could do the next item first, and then I think I can fix it in between now and then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We can be flexible.
Okay,
Neil,
yeah.
I'm gonna allow you to share for when you are ready, because I had it turned off. So let me turn that on for you for when you are ready, and then go ahead.
Okay,
and-
all right. I'll message you when I'm ready. I'll probably be ready in about like 15 minutes. I just have to, not sure why there's this error here.
No
No
problem.
problem.
So any updates on projects, research, or upcoming events? So all is good in the city of Beaverton. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Allison, we'd love to have a pithy update on the council. Lots going on.
Well, I think it's a sign of summer. Everything kind of slows down a little. People are spending more time outside, and it's like what projects are going on? And it's kind of the same for the city council too. I know summer, from what I understand, is always a little quieter in some ways than other parts of the year. We just rolled off of May, which was brutal with budget meetings. So much. That was my first time going through the process, and it was pretty intense. It's like turn to page 1125 and line item da 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 da. And if you look at the figures da 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 da, now turn to page 1126. But we got through it, and the budget committee approved it. It's going to go before council in a public setting, town hall style. I believe it's town hall style, but with the public to provide comment on the budget before it is officially approved towards the end of June. So that took up a lot of bandwidth in May, and I guess that's always the case. I did get it on the record that I really would like to see the council have their retreat in the fall instead of the early part of each year, because it's quite cumbersome for city staff to try to work up budgets without knowing what the council priorities are. And I imagine quite frustrating. It's like knitting a sweater and then someone comes in and says, can you change the color of this right in the middle? And you can't without kind of undoing the whole thing and doing it over again. And that just seems extremely inefficient. And so I think that there's some support for that. The wrench this year is because we have a runoff. So that's not getting decided until September, but I'm hoping that we'll see something in October or November that would just give a little extra time to city staff to wrap their heads around what the council is thinking and what their priorities are to help inform that. But for this go around, it's essentially done, and we'll just wait to hear what the public has to say about it next.
Great.
Any questions on the budget? I have a couple other updates. Ramona?
I assume that the budget is viewable for the public someplace, right?
Yes, I don't readily off the top of my head remember where on the website. Carley, do you offhand know?
I could probably find it for you if you're interested in having that link, and I could probably direct it to you. Just take me a little bit of digging, but it's there. It is on the public website.
Okay.
It's just, I don't. Yeah, I can dig it and send it to you if you'd like.
Or I can find it if I know that it's actually viewable. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and if you go to the front page of the website, there's the search bar at the top. I'm sure if you just plug in budget, it'll probably pop it
Okay.
right up.
Thank you.
Let me know if you don't find it. How about
I
that?
will.
Okay, and then, so I'm sure you are all aware, we've selected the city manager. It came down to 2 candidates. Yeah, I'm so excited too. One, because it's an arduous process to job hunt, look for the right person and get all the candidates. And we had a lot of good candidates. So there was reading all these applications and scoring them, and then the first round interviews and narrowing it down. And then, both of those candidates went through the ringer with so many interactions with the city staff, with the community, tours of the city. And it's always hard when you have to come down to making the final call on it. But Jenny she's going to add so much incredible value to this role, having not only had so many years of experience doing this, but also having helped with kind of that transitional weird space between council and how they want to weigh in on things, and the city staff and how what they need to do their job. And we need someone to come in that's got some backbone and can do some work at educating us on the best practices of the city manager form of government in a way that allows us to understand the ways that we can be best in the role of city councilor and use those positions and maximize them to the best extent possible without getting in the weeds of trying to direct staff in the day-to-day, which is a big departure from how it ran under the strong mayor form of government. And I just think having that clarity is going to be really beneficial for everyone. Kurt Wilson has gone above and beyond in terms of the time he's put into this, especially given that he has traveled extensively from his home base to be here. And it's luckily, because there's a bit of a delay in it's not like Jenny can just start tomorrow. She has to move. She has to get kind of just in the place to get going. And so I think it's just causing a little bit of a stumbling through the summer of keeping up with the agenda and the pace at which we were going in the early part of the year. So that's why it's a little quieter. We don't have a meeting tonight. There's another date coming up, I think in July, where we don't have a meeting scheduled. We're packing the other meetings full. And then traditionally the council has taken off most of August. But we're going to schedule some meetings in August too, which I think will be the norm going forward as well. Any questions about the city manager or the transition? Ramona?
Did she come from a city that had a council and city manager sharing the control of the city?
She did. She's worked in 3 cities. The one that she's been with, I think the longest and most recent was the city of Tracy, California, which if you're not that familiar, for those that aren't, it's outside of the Bay Area. It's relatively similar in size to Beaverton.
Okay.
And it's also one of those, they used to call it a drive till you qualify city. So people that lived and worked in San Francisco and could no longer afford it, or never in their wildest dreams would be able to afford a home. Essentially, you just get on the freeway and you drive until you reach a community where you can qualify for a mortgage. It's insane in that area. Tracy's not even really affordable anymore. It's the whole area has gotten so unaffordable. But no, she had, from what I understand, I was actually just reading about it in the paper. There's an article on it. The council down there got a little wily and overstepping in some pretty significant ways. And that creates a lot of drama and a lot of conflict, and the ability to weave your way through that really, with agility and grace and patience was something that I don't foresee that happening here, but it's good to have someone who's got the skill set of knowing that these kinds of transitions can be difficult, and muscle memory is a thing, used to things being one way, it can be a little jarring. Yeah. So especially with the mayor's role too, because that's the it's changed so significantly.
Right.
And they're gonna have to get their dance moves down together.
Well, when you said talking about housing affordability, Beaverton is rapidly approaching that description that it's getting unaffordable. I have friends who are looking for a single level house in Beaverton. Houses are selling within 24 hours, well beyond the asking price, like double the asking price. It's getting insane. And I don't know how people are going to be able to afford housing in Beaverton.
Yeah, I think there's a few things at play, and it's not just Beaverton, it's every city in the metro area is seeing extraordinarily low numbers of homes being listed. And you're always going to have a fairly high level of mobility as people enter different stages of their lives, as renters get to the stage where they've saved enough for a down, or people are ready to move up in house, or people are ready to move down in house. And that churn and demand is always present, but the housing stock has just been completely depressed right now. And I think it's partly driven by folks knowing that if they sold and they wanted to stay, they're uncertain they could find something else. And just the uncertainty of the world right now has people kind of staying put. A lot of people just refied because the rates went down again. And you got to kind of stick that out to see the return on the cost of doing that. There's a lot of stuff going on. And with interest rates as low as they are, I think it's just creating a lot of intense competition on the market. And we've got folks from other states like California that have more spending power because their homes were worth even more. And so they can just throw a giant chunk of change down and price you out.
Yeah.
And so and then on the building side of it, I think the cost of lumber just increased to like over 400% of what it was this time last year. And that's just lumber. It's happening with steel. It's happening with drywall and everything else. The material cost escalation is something that is disruptions in supply chains, just major disruptions because of COVID in general. And because there's this weird wonky demand that's still playing out, and projects that were in the pipeline have to get built. So I think we're going to see just some like pent up demand for additional housing starts and some difficulties in getting them online because the banks are very risk averse to funding projects that are going to go over what they are thinking the end user is going to be able to afford. So there's that. And then we have space constraints. We're talking about the urban growth boundary expansion into South Cooper Mountain. It's not done yet. So there's a whole bunch of that hasn't come online. So then it's all infill. It is rocky right now, all the way down to the severe weather shelter. And with Project C, that if that progresses in the way that it's progressing and that goes away, where does it go? So it's folks at basically every single level of income are struggling to figure out what they're going to do.
Thank you, Allison.
Yeah.
Wow. We're really grateful for all the work the council has done. And I think it's time to take some time to rest.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as you can.
One bright note I'd like to end on is the Dining Street Commons. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to go down there. That was really just a spur of the moment. We've got to do something to help Restaurant Row. And so we closed down that portion of First Street and erected the tents and put out some seating. And it proved to be really, really popular. There was also street seating that had been planned at establishments all over that area and throughout downtown Beaverton, central Beaverton. And there's a survey that's been sent out for folks to fill out of how they feel about the Dining Commons and if they'd like to see it become permanent. And I think that there's still time to fill that survey out, maybe not. But, there were some concerns about outdoor drinking or parking. But a lot of folks loved it. And so that's something to keep your eye on. And even if the survey's closed, if you loved it, let the council know, because I think we're going to be making some decisions pretty quickly on that one.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So Neil, you're all set for us?
Yes, let me go ahead and see if my screen sharing will work. I think it should be working.
Wonderful. Well, I'd like to welcome Neil Jane, who runs PDX Concierge in Beaverton.
Yeah, thank you. Are you able to see, wait, hold on, not that. Yeah,
Yep.
are you able to see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for allotting this time for my presentation. I also gave this presentation, I believe, a few months ago, but I just kind of wanted to give it again. I know we have some new people in here, and there's been, some growth and updates we've had since then. So I'm Neil. I founded PDX Concierge back in around April 2020, around the beginning of when the pandemic actually started. And our website here is www.pdxdeliver.com. And here's just some pictures of some of the work we've done in the past. So I'd like to just kind of go over first, like who we are, like what is PDX Concierge? We're basically a free grocery delivery service for those who are elderly, immunocompromised, and disabled. Many individuals in this category have difficulty getting to the store and getting their groceries, or we also work with some local food banks to deliver food boxes to seniors who maybe are in need of that food assistance. We've worked with some local organizations like the 211 Info Referral Line, the food bank, like a grocery store, and some more. And yeah, with my goal in particular is just to really keep those who are vulnerable in the community safe and involve high school students volunteer work in the same process, which is always cool to see. So now I'd kind of like to just go over how the actual process works if you or anyone may be interested in these services. So basically, someone who utilizes our services, they can place an order on our app, website, or via phone. We do have like a phone number for people to call into. And then after that, we match the order with like a volunteer in the area. So we have volunteers in each geographic area that can help out do the shopping. And then the volunteer goes ahead and does the shopping. And if they have any questions, they're in contact with you. And then they pay for the groceries up front with their own funds. They deliver them, and then they just get reimbursed for the groceries. And some additional offerings, I know, like based on demand, we've had like a few additional offerings, like we've done those food box deliveries from local food banks. We provide just overall support as well. Like many seniors in this time are just looking for someone to talk to. Some of them have been more isolated and lonely, so we're here just to talk to them and help them out on like an individual basis. We do occasionally do technology assistance as well. Like we've helped like people who may need, let's say you need help like getting a computer set up, or like smartphone work or anything. We have these tech savvy young volunteers who are more than willing to help out with those kind of technology needs. So I'd like to just give like a summary of where our work is at since we started. We made about like 600 deliveries, and we have about 100 volunteers from about like 25 schools across the state. And we serve all these different areas on this map, from the Portland area to Salem to Eugene and to Rhodesburg. And the interesting thing is with all these volunteers, I just started this just in the Beaverton area, like in our local area, but I was just really amazed to see all this response of all these, these students eager to sign up and help the community. And it helps both ways, and getting these groceries delivered to those in need, but also giving kids like a chance to get a sense of responsibility and have a chance for community service, which I think is a great way to learn about these really valuable life skills. So with those numbers in mind, we do have room for growth. Like I mentioned, we do have a lot of volunteers, but the interesting thing is we could actually, we're actually looking to find more clients. Like we're looking to do more deliveries. So I would really appreciate if any of you, if you know of any friends or anyone who could use the service, spreading the word. We do have capacity to get more deliveries going, and yeah, I want to be able to give these students the opportunity to volunteer. So we'd really love to do more deliveries, and we'd be happy to help out in any way we can. So this is kind of why I wanted to make this presentation. I know you all have really a lot of expertise in this field. I'm just a kid after all, and I just wanted to see if if you had any advice for me, like what's the best way to reach seniors and those who could utilize our services. Maybe those who can most utilize our services are those who are like low income or don't have transportation, but at the same time, they may not have like technology. So how do we kind of get to these targets who are trying, or who we're trying to help? Are there any sorts of like organizations or other nonprofits we could partner with, like any senior transportation or any nonprofits or anything who could maybe make referrals or we could work with or anything? So I'd like you guys just to kind of think of these questions. You can send me chat messages or speak up, but just to kind of end the presentation, I just wanted to play like a feature that we were in for a GMA. I think it kind of sums up our work pretty well. So I'll just play that soon. Let me just find a way to play it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time playing the thing. Let me just get it up real quick.
Try going into YouTube and doing it from there.
Okay, I think this might be working here. Let me just see. Yeah, sorry, the internet's just a little slow right now.
I think if everybody can turn off their videos, then that helps.
All right, I think
Just temporarily.
yeah, let me. Yeah, it looks like it's loading now. I apologize if it's a little slow.
Oh, I love this ad.
Yeah, there's an ad here, and then it should play after that. Yeah, it looks like there's just 10 seconds left of this ad, and then I'll play.
Expanding their unique delivery service across 7 cities in Oregon, making life better for the elderly, the infirm, and others caught at home in the ongoing pandemic.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sure.
The pandemic was definitely an adjustment for me and my family. My grandma, she has asthma and she's in the older category. She needed the help getting groceries, so me and my family, we started doing her grocery shopping. I was glad to see her safe, but I just thought there's probably plenty of other people in the same shoes as my grandma. I started around early April, and some of the early steps I took was designing the flyers for the website, and then reaching out to like different retirement homes to just tell them our service existed. People just give us their grocery list and we go do their shopping for them, and they just have to reimburse us only. The people that we deliver to are people who are elderly, or people who are immunocompromised, or just people who are disabled, like they can't really get to the store. When we deliver to someone new, we usually write them a handwritten card just telling them we're here to help whenever you need, and just encouraging them to stay safe, and just telling them like you can always call back.
To my PDX friends and shoppers, those who work so hard for me, I want to thank you with all my heart for all that you do for me and bringing me essentials of what I need to live life.
Yeah, like about 35 or more, mostly high school volunteers. I think it's just given me a great sense of community and being able to help out in this difficult time. And I think all the volunteers sign up for the same reason. The responses are always really amazing. People are really grateful for like the work we're doing.
These kids are real good. I can trust them. They're dependable. They're on time. They've not failed me in any way. from this woman to each one of you. You're amazing.
That's beautiful. Teenagers can be awesome people.
All right, yeah, thank you for watching that. And then one other thing I just wanted to go over is, and you all are free to turn on your camera again as well. And just one thing I just wanted to go over real quick is this is just like a quick glimpse of our website. We just have like, you know, everything about us. And there's like a little area for people to put in their groceries. We have, you know, like information about our services and different tabs in our website. So I'll put that link.
Back with the Hero Team Volunteers, expanding their unique.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'll put the link for our website in the chat. And now if anyone has any advice for me, I would appreciate that. And here's like the contact information as well. I apologize for all the technical errors.
Don't apologize, Neil. This is John Ratliff.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, Neil.
Yeah,
Neil,
Neil?
I do have one question for you. This is Sophie. I just wonder, how's the response been? I mean, I'm assuming it's been really great. Yeah,
the
just
response has
curious.
been really great overall. Like I think, like you probably saw in that video, just the clients are really grateful for our services, and many of them, you know, we've become great friends with. So it's always cool to like see their reaction when they get their stuff, and you know, build the relationships over time. And it's really great overall.
And Suzanne, Susan?
Yes, I just have one question for you. First, kudos to you. This is fantastic. I don't fall into that low income disabled area, but I do have groceries delivered, and I do it for other reasons, mainly to save money because I spend less when I have them delivered. But they're delivered by Uber or someone else. And I was just wondering, have you thought of a way? I'd much rather have someone local like your group deliver those groceries. And I don't know if you've thought about that market or whether it's even a possibility.
Yeah, we're by no means limited just to low income seniors. It's really our service is just targeted for everyone who's like elderly, or it doesn't have to be the specifically disabled or low income category. So we'd be more than happy to deliver some of your groceries and everything.
Wonderful. And I want to welcome Don Royce. Don, welcome to the BCOA meeting. Did you have your hand raised to ask Neil a question?
Yes, I had John Bell. I'm working with Meals on Wheels. I've been on the board here Beaverton for 10 years. And we have, of course, meals delivered now 3 days a week for the 3 routes. I mean, one route, each route is 42 routes, and they're delivered now once a week in metro area. One of the things I could see is the liability for teenagers. We have to go through a complete investigation for sex offenders, felons, and so on that before they can become volunteer for our groups. And I would think that because we have had experiences with problems with volunteers abusing our clients, our seniors, asking for money, stealing, and so on. So I mean, it's been over the years a problem of when we have volunteers that are not honest with us, and then we end up stealing from a client or asking for money. So we have to have a complete police check on everybody who wants to be a volunteer. And of course, when our volunteers are older, most of our volunteers in their 60s, 70s already, and we've lost a lot of them because they're during this time we don't need as many doing the home delivery because we don't deliver as many homes because we deliver once a week instead of 5 times a week. But we lost the public contact. We did have trying to get telephone friends So you call back the same person 3 or 4 times a week, and you get find out, you know, so they have some contact that way. But I'd be interested in Neil getting together with you and see how we can help you with and get our people. We're a 503c nonprofit corporation going on our 50th year now. And in the metro area, we have Meals on Wheels in Washington County, Multnomah County, and Clark County. Clackamas County is a separate corporation, and all the West Coast, Columbia County is a separate corporation too. But sometimes use Meals on Wheels name, and sometimes they don't. That's a franchise name, same as Goodwill. Goodwill is a name that Goodwill Pacific Columbia River has to pay national goodwill a little bit. But anyway.
Well, perhaps you both can connect at the end.
Yeah,
of
I want to get the contact telephone number again and the website.
Good.
Together with Susan Washington is our director, and our local person is Robin.
Thank you, John. I'm going to call on John Ratcliffe now, who has a question for Neil.
Yeah, Neil, I was just going to mention that I'm on the vestry for our local church. We're going to have a meeting tonight, and I'll make mention of you guys and what you're doing at the vestry meeting.
That sounds great. Thank you, John. Yeah, any way you can spread the word always helps.
Oh, the other question I had is, how did you guys get into Roseburg? We spent a lot of time down in Roseburg, you know, something like 20 years, but I'm kind of curious about that.
So the main way we expand is just based on like the interests of the volunteers. So I basically, someone from Roseburg reached out saying they would like to get involved in this work and start some kind of effort in Roseburg. So it's mostly been on their efforts, and I help oversee. So yeah, it's mostly just been based on who wants to start it and where and stuff.
Oh,
That's great.
Alexis.
Hi, Neil. Just a couple super quick questions. Is it fair to share this material on social media? Like, are you guys okay or comfortable with that?
We'll take as much exposure as we can get. Anything is fine. Yeah.
Is there any kind of need for like fundraising or any kind of like Venmo place like that for funds, or is it really just based out of personal accounts at this point?
At this point, we received like a decent amount of donations where we can cover like our needs financially right now. So it's mostly the goal mostly right now is just to try and expand and stuff.
Okay. And then last one, I know this is like the same drum I always beat in all my suggestions, but have you thought about partnering with local libraries? Because like a lot of elderly people use those as a resource. And so that might be a place to put up some of your flyers or share your information.
Oh yeah, actually, I don't think I've tried that yet. So I'll definitely like try reaching out to the Beaverton library and local libraries. I think that's a great idea. So if anyone like has any specific contacts, I'll take those. Otherwise, I can just try to reach out to them.
Yeah, I can connect you, Neil. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I have been emailing with, I forget her title, but she's basically like the program director for a lot of the volunteer activities that the library participates in. So I could give you her email. She's always looking for new stuff going on.
Yeah. And Beth Gilbert too. Would be a good contact. Sure. Well, thank you so much, Neil. It's really exciting to see the inspiration. And Allison.
Yeah, just really quickly, have you had any interactions with AARP Oregon?
AARP Oregon, did you say?
Yeah, AARP Oregon.
Yeah, AARP. I think I've tried to call them, but what I found is it's very difficult to get a hold of them for some reason. Like there's in the phone number, like they have many different prompts and stuff. So I haven't.
I will connect you directly, Neil. I'm involved with them very much so, and I'll make sure that you are connected. In fact, I just made a note to do that.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Ramona.
Could I have,
and then we have to move on.
I understand. Could I have your telephone number contact once more? Neil. I got all but the last 4 digits.
I think it's in the chat.
Here, I'll put it in the chat right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, if anyone else has any other questions, I'll put my email in the chat too.
Excellent, because there's a lot to think about and chew on for future.
Yeah. If anyone ever wants to thinks of anything or wants to like connect, feel free to contact me.
Awesome. Okay, so here we go. We are going to move into our next thing. Carley, I think we're going to move into your little overview of the city.
Yeah, but my staff liaison report's pretty quick. So thanks everyone. We just, Allison already mentioned the piece around the city manager. So I think we covered all of that. So my main thing for the update from the city is related to the library. The summer reading is underway. So there are various things going on to encourage reading this summer. So there's activities for kids to listen to audiobooks or to read books as a family. There's various things you can print off. So those of you that are interested can check out their website. There's things to print off, different kinds of reading progress and logs, and specific things between July 5th and August 15th for kids and teens. And then let's see here. You can also read for a good cause by tracking your hours through August 15th and earn meals for recipients of Meals on Wheels. So speaking of Meals on Wheels earlier, so there's a donation of meals related to hours read. So there's an activity for that. Let's see here, anything else? That was it. So it was real quick today. That was kind of the main thing, that and the city manager. Those were the 2 main updates I had related to the city stuff.
So in spite of COVID, we are still moving forward.
Yeah, things are still happening.
Things are still happening. And when you go downtown to the dining commons, look at the wonderful art that's on the flooring, the sidewalks and the street. It's really exciting. And there's just a wonderful array of food to get. So it's
as a former arts committee member, I'm sure Allison has
Oh my gosh,
art things that are been happening with all of the
I
kinds of
took
projects.
a friend there for lunch last week, and she's not from the area. She's like, I need to live here. Just from sitting in this one spot, we could see 5 murals around us. It was incredible. And they just opened a kids zone. I don't know if you've had a chance to see that. So it's pretty cool. There's a swing now in one of the
Where
tents.
is this? This is downtown?
Yeah, I was first.
I haven't seen the kids zone yet. Now I'm gonna have to go.
It opened last week, at the end of last week. So it's brand spanking new. It's adorable. It's really, really cool.
And they are going to put a flooring on it that's softer than the hard road. So it's going to be safer for kids to, if they fall, which kids do. Okay, well, thank you all. That was awesome. We are now going to break into our subcommittees that we established last month. So we get an opportunity to get together and to talk about how are we going to put our ideas in motion. And I'm going to break out with the honoring this older adults, and Carley is going to break out with the Liaison Committee and the Speaker and Education Forum. And then we're going to decide how each subcommittee is going to decide what are we going to do? What are our priorities? So I invite you to really dive in and find a passion that you have for the committee that you're on and follow that passion that you have. When we go with a strong intent and a strong purpose, where everything feels easy to do. But if we force ourselves to do something we really don't want to do, then it feels like drudgery. And that's not the goal here. The goal here is to be a part of a team, to do what you love, and to find that out in your group. And there's plenty to figure out how to do what we're going to do. Okay, so Carley, you're going to divide us, right?
Yeah, so I'll give the directions. I did notice that we had one more guest that joined the meeting, Dawn. I just thought, Martha, maybe before we divide up, you might.
I asked him before.
Oh,
and I didn't hear
okay,
him.
sorry.
So, hi, Dawn.
Hi. Sorry
Welcome.
about that. Thank you.
So what inspired you to be to our meeting today?
I just have been interested and followed along in the monthly newsletter, and I just really had not had time to be able to join. And so today I do now, due to changes that have happened in my life. And so here I am.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thanks.
And glad you got a really good part of the meeting in terms of what we're working on. And our wonderful youth liaison, Neil Jane, has been creating. Great. Well, welcome. Okay, Carly.
Sure. So let me explain. So I made the breakout rooms. Martha and I noted that at the last meeting, we sort of decided that you picked 3 subcommittees to move forward, but 2 of the subcommittees had all of the same members except for one person. So we put those 2 together for the moment. So for the moment, I'm just going to split you into 2 groups, and then I'm going to go into the conversation where it was the doubled up group. We'll have a conversation in there about strategy, about what to do. But if you've already decided and said which group you wanted to be a part of, you're going to see something pop up and you could choose which subcommittee, or I'll put you in the subcommittee group. For our guests who have not, or are just joining us, if you want to listen in to one of these 2 subcommittees, one is celebrating older adults. Is that the right topic, Martha? Celebrating. And then the other one is the liaison and the events and speakers committee. So there's kind of 2 in 1. So you'll stay in the main group, and then you can tell me and I'll put you in the right one if you want to listen in to that subcommittee conversation, or if you want to say goodbye to the group, that's also fine. But that's what we're going to switch into now, is to the 2, and everybody can go to the meeting that they'd like to go to. And if you're not familiar with breakout rooms, what's going to happen is that you're going to see something pop up on your screen saying you've been assigned to breakout room, and you just hit yes, join, and then that will send you into the meeting room. And if you are somebody who's a guest and you would like to go to one and then you want to leave it, there's an option to leave breakout room, and it'll bring you back to the main room. You could go to the other. So it's kind of like if you go into separate rooms but doing it virtually. So I'll pop those breakout rooms live right now, and then if you have questions, I'm going to stay right here and answer them. So let's see, and actually, so John and Don and Allison, I didn't assign you yet. I didn't know if you wanted to go to Allison. I wasn't sure if you wanted to stay or go or depart for the subcommittee meetings. That was totally up to you. So I thought, and the same with Don and John, I can.
Well, I'll be just to visit, see what's going on. I'm not going to be able to be a regular at this time.
Sure. So do you want me to just put you into one to listen in? Okay.
Especially one in housing or. Housing.
Yes, neither of these are going to be particularly focused on housing. That's just not the subcommittees that they had today, although this is certainly a topic, but I don't think it will be the focus of either of the conversations.
What's the topic selections right now?
The 2 subcommittees that they selected, celebrating older adults, and then the other, so that's various initiatives to be able to sort of honor and celebrate older adults in our community. And then, and they had some ideas about how to do that. And then the other one is focusing on like the liaison, so the committee members that want to connect with other organizations and different groups, as well as thinking about speakers to have, and what did I say? Like a speakers forum and events. So that's kind of what their focus is on.
Okay, I think I'm gonna buy. Thank you for letting me speak a little bit, and I'll see you next time.
All right, well, come back again to the next meeting and we'll look